How low can you go? Can you go down low? How low can you go, Indiana Fever? Jeez, you guys have just turned this organization into a flat out joke. All of a sudden, Sophie Cunningham is hurt. All of a sudden, her elbow's messed up. Y'all smell that? Smells like BS. It smells like some punishment is being served out to Sophie.
Buddy, get ready. Because the Indiana Fever are suddenly at the center of a massive storm that could shake the entire WNBA. Behind the bright lights, packed arenas, and non-stop attention, a reported conflict inside the Fever organization has fans asking some very serious questions. What looked like another season filled with records, big wins, and intense basketball may now be turning into a story about loyalty, trust, and standing by your teammates. According to the alleged reports surrounding the situation, Coach Stephanie White and Sophie Cunningham have supposedly reached a breaking point. The claims suggest that Cunningham may have faced disciplinary action because of her aggressive style and her willingness to defend Caitlin Clark during heated moments on the court. For months, Sophie has been portrayed as one of the players willing to step forward whenever Clark found herself in a physical battle. She played with intensity, accepted difficult assignments, and wasn't afraid to get involved when emotions boiled over. That reputation made Cunningham an important personality inside the Fever locker room. Whenever opponents challenged Clark, Sophie was often right there. She took the criticism, dealt with the physicality, and continued playing with an edge. But now, according to the unverified story being circulated, that same intensity may have created tension with the coaching staff. And if these reports are accurate, what happened next could have serious consequences for the entire team.
Is ridiculous. Look at the first comment, Evelyn. You guys are a clown organization. Here it says Sophie hurt her elbow writing this for Stephanie White, didn't she? This is what Sophie Cunningham had. I will not pass to Caitlin again. I will not pass to Caitlin Clark again. This is what they forced Sophie Cunningham to do. Okay, that's how she hurt her elbow. CDS Sports, go rogue, win game, end up on injury report. Beatings will continue until morale improves. This is ridiculous, guys. This is ridiculous. Everybody knows this is clearly punishment for Sophie Cunningham. Chloe Peterson was the first to report on it. She said, Sophie Cunningham is questionable with a right elbow injury for tomorrow's game. She participated in the portion of practice open to the media this morning. Okay. And everybody knows every comment is that this is punishment. Look here, Sophie being put in timeout for speaking what's on her mind. Okay.
Behind the scenes, the situation allegedly became more complicated. Reports circulating online claim that Stephanie White was increasingly concerned about Cunningham's aggressive approach, technical fouls, and the amount of attention surrounding her confrontational style. The coaching staff, according to those claims, wanted discipline, structure, and complete focus. Cunningham, meanwhile, was reportedly determined to play her role with the same toughness that had made her so popular with teammates and fans. Eventually, the alleged conflict supposedly reached a critical point. The story claims that Cunningham was called into a private meeting with the coaching staff, where her conduct was discussed behind closed doors. There is no verified evidence publicly establishing that she was secretly suspended in the manner described, but the allegation has fueled plenty of speculation among Fever supporters. And that's where the emotional side of the story begins. Imagine being a player who constantly embraces the difficult role, accepts criticism, and puts everything on the line for her teammates, only to suddenly find herself at the center of an internal dispute. Online discussions have painted Cunningham as someone who would rather absorb the criticism herself than allow the pressure to fall on Clark or her teammates. Whether every detail of the circulating story is accurate or not, one thing is clear. The alleged tension has created a huge conversation around the Fever and the way the team handles its most controversial moments.
Like the mafia. So everyone knows, it's clear as day that this is punishment for Sophie Cunningham. It's very, very, very obvious that this is punishment for Sophie Cunningham. The organization is a straight up clown show at this point. And then not only that, they have not addressed the smear campaign. They've gone out of their way to address any and everything else. They refuse to address the smear campaign led by Dan Dockich, who has been adamant about he's getting this information from the inside. Not only have they not addressed that, and he doubled down on it today. Dan Dockich was bombing again today. Stephanie White went on the same platform that took shots at Caitlin Clark and aired a hit piece. This is crazy. All of this is just flat out craziness. This Indiana Fever organization is a flat out joke. Sophie Cunningham is being punished for going rogue with Caitlin Clark, passing her the ball. You know they wanted that ball to go to Kelsey Mitchell. They didn't give a damn. That ball go to Kelsey Mitchell or come hell or high water. And that is what it is. Look at the
But the biggest twist in this story involves Caitlin Clark. According to the circulating allegations, Clark supposedly discovered that Cunningham was facing disciplinary action and reacted strongly to the situation. Now, there is no confirmed evidence that Clark actually confronted Stephanie White with the dramatic ultimatum being described online. But the alleged confrontation has quickly become the centerpiece of the story. The narrative claims that Clark refused to simply stand by while a teammate who had repeatedly supported her was supposedly pushed aside. And that's why the alleged statement has generated so much attention. If she goes, I go. Those words have become the supposed centerpiece of the controversy, suggesting that Clark would be willing to stand with Cunningham regardless of the consequences. But again, this should be treated as an unverified claim rather than an established fact. Still, the idea itself has captured the imagination of WNBA fans because of the enormous influence Clark has developed since entering the league. If a franchise superstar publicly disagreed with a major internal decision involving one of her teammates, the consequences could extend far beyond a single locker room. Suddenly, what began as an alleged disagreement between a coach and a player would become a major story involving team leadership, player relationships, and the future direction of the Indiana Fever.
Obvious. Isn't it obvious that Dan Dockich is not lying about the information he's getting from within this organization as they refuse to address it? Dan Dockich doubled down on everything he said right here in this. He took the X. Yo, G, damn it, hold on. Steph White is calling. Gotta go to work. Keep hating. Keep stalking. So he's taking shots at the people that have been addressing him, adding on to the smear campaign that's going on against Caitlin Clark. It's ridiculous, but the fact of the matter is you can't blame Dan Dockich. You can't blame him. He's not lying about where he's getting the information from, which is why the Indiana Fever is so hush and damn quiet about it. He's not lying. None of them are going to come out and call him a liar. None of them have stepped up to the plate to address the smear campaign that's being launched at Caitlin Clark. She's being targeted. They're not saying anything because it's coming from them. They've gone on to address everything else, whether it's people coming at them for the draft. Lynn Dunn went and called us all complainers. Stephanie White addressing the fans saying, hey, these games are boring as hell now. These games are boring. The product stinks now. You've come over here and ruined the product. The games are entertaining. She addressed that in last game's pregame podium. They've addressed everything. The Indiana Fever's Twitter handle or X handle put a post up after last game saying, are you not entertained? They've been addressing everything publicly but this because they are in on it. Make no mistake about that. Make no mistake about that at all. And then Stephanie White, shout out to Mick Talks Hoops.
And this is where the situation becomes even bigger. Caitlin Clark has become one of the most recognizable stars in women's basketball. While the Indiana Fever have experienced enormous attention from fans and media, that means any major controversy involving Clark, Cunningham, or coach Stephanie White would naturally attract massive attention. The idea that Clark could potentially refuse to play in protest of a teammate's treatment has sparked intense discussion online. Some fans are demanding answers, while others are questioning whether the dramatic claims being circulated have any reliable evidence behind them. There is also the financial argument. Clark's popularity has brought tremendous attention to the Fever and the WNBA, but claims that exactly 50% of the league's fan base would disappear if she walked away are speculation, not a verified forecast. So what happens next? Will the Fever address the rumors surrounding Sophie Cunningham? Will Stephanie White explain the team's position? And will Caitlin Clark remain silent, or could she eventually speak publicly about the situation? Right now, The biggest question isn't simply about one player or one coach. It's about trust. It's about the relationship between teammates, the authority of the coaching staff, and how the Fever handle pressure when the entire basketball world is watching. If the allegations are eventually proven false, the story could disappear just as quickly as it exploded. But if there is genuine conflict behind the scenes, this could become one of the most talked about storylines surrounding the Indiana Fever. And buddy, that's exactly why everyone is watching what happens next.
It's gross.
Well, we see Cheryl Reeve wearing a shirt today in support of trans kids. Trans kids belong on the shirt. This in the aftermath of Sophie Cunningham's recent comments. We actually saw Cheryl and Sophie speaking at center court pregame. And yesterday, Cheryl Reeve spent a lot of time talking at length with the media about this topic.
I would encourage anyone to go and listen to Cheryl Reeve's comments. Incredibly thoughtful, easy to find online.
I would encourage anybody to go see Cheryl Reeve's comments. By the way, Sophie did not look like she backed down from Cheryl Reeve. I've got more coming on all of this. This is right here. Sophie Cunningham, by the way, took a ugly elbow in this game, and the refs called the foul against her. Let's just look at this. Bam! Hit her right in the jaw. And the refs, they swallowed their whistles. I'd love to know why. Lynx defeated the Fever 108-100. And you could see the deficiencies in this team showed out. The bench is not deep enough. There's not enough length on this team. Again, we were saying that as free agency was going on. And then the draft, when it really blew up, and they took Raven Johnson instead of a big. And they got rid of Justine Passat. It felt like the Fever never had a chance in this game. And I was looking at the starting five for the Lynx. We got to realize